What's going on, guys? Minnesota here. In my 20 years of living on this earth, I've professionally worked at 5 different jobs. Professionally meaning I had to pay income tax on them, not like side gigs like mowing a lawn or drop shipping. Some were better than others, and some I would never really work at again. And in today's video, I want to talk about each of my job experiences in a somewhat in-depth style, and rate them out on a scale of 0 to 10. We'll start off with my first job. I was 15 years old and wanted to make some money to buy a PS4, so naturally I looked around to see where a 15-year-old could work, but not too many places were hiring because qualifications required at least 16 years of age, at least in the state of Minnesota. But eventually I landed on a pizza maker gig at my local Green Mill. If you don't know what Green Mill is, it's a franchise restaurant chain. They're pretty popular, at least in the Midwest. I don't know about anywhere else. Think of it as just a decent family restaurant, nothing too fancy, and I had eaten there before. And they actually had some pretty good pizzas, so I was glad I was able to make some. When I was interviewed, they asked me what I wanted for pay. At the time, minimum wage in Minnesota was like $8.50, so I asked for $9. They gave me $9.50. I felt like I just brokered the best deal out on planet Earth. I started working there in July of 2015. I didn't work that often, like 20 hours a week or so. It was okay. I was the youngest person there by far, but some of the waiters and waitresses that worked there were around my age and actually went to my high school. I even took one of them to prom, which was pretty cool. 6 months later, I decided it was time for a change. So I interviewed for a position at my local Best Buy. I was hired on the 19th of December 2016. I don't know why I remember that day, but I always saw it as like an experience moving up in the job world, which was something I was kind of proud of. I gave my 2 weeks at Green Mill in mid-January, so I worked there for about 7 months in total. Overall, it was alright. The pay was pretty bad, but the people were nice, and I even got a prom date and a PS4 out of it. 5 out of 10. Best Buy was probably my favorite job experience out of all of these. I started at $11 an hour, which was awesome. I got paid an extra 50 cents compared to other starters because I could speak fluent Spanish. I worked in the connected home area, which basically meant I helped people with Wi-Fi stuff, along with speakers, headphones, and security cameras. I had a really fun time working at Best Buy. The people there were closer to my age, and I was working with stuff I was actually interested in. The employee discount wasn't bad either. It came in clutch for a lot of Christmas presents. I actually met one of my best friends by working at Best Buy. His name is Gavin, and he worked in the home theater area. We became really good friends and eventually roommates for our first semester of college, which was super fun. There's always 2 stories that I'll never forget working at Best Buy. One good and one bad. We'll start with the good one. I was working on a Wednesday night closing. I eventually went to the break room and I was starving. I didn't want to buy anything from the vending machine, so I was just looking around in the fridge/freezer to see if there's anything there left unmarked. Luckily, there was a singular Hot Pocket. I was so relieved. I warmed it up in the microwave and started eating it. A few minutes later, my friends Gavin and Akira walked in and sat down on the couch. I'll draw a layout of the room for you so you can get some context of what I'm talking about. Eventually, one more employee came in, and I'll leave her name out of this video just for the sake of privacy, but she was a large woman with a southern accent. She went to the freezer and opened it up, and I will never forget the words that she yelled out afterwards. "Who the fuck ate my Hot Pocket?" At that moment, my pupils dilated to the size of a needle. About 5 seconds later, Gavin and Akira are on the couch dying of laughter. They're literally on the floor rolling. I'm not joking. She isn't paying attention to them because she's on the microphone asking if anyone ate her Hot Pocket. I had my back turned to her, so she didn't notice I was eating it. I quickly hid it in my pocket and waited till she left and threw it in the trash bin and buried it under stuff so no one would find it. The entire time this is happening, Gavin and Akira are both on the floor rolling around laughing their hearts out. Looking back on it, it was one of the funniest moments of my life and nothing will make me forget it. Now we can move on to the story that I'm still a little angry over. So one day I was minding my own business, and one of my managers asked if I could help at the mobile department. Now, keep in mind, mobile is one of the only special departments within Best Buy, meaning there are some steps that you have to take to go through in order to activate phones. And any other department besides mobile works the same. You just ring up the SKU and check them out. Me, not wanting to disappoint my manager, said, sure. It was pretty packed, and I had never worked at mobile before, so I was going in pretty blind, but my manager assured me that the other employees would help me through the process. I helped out a couple check out a red iPhone 7. They were super nice and everything was going well. We eventually got it done, and it looked like I was actually doing a pretty good job. The problem was, I actually didn't check out the phone for them. They never paid for it. This never went through my mind because I got their credit card information earlier for insurance or something, so I thought it'd be saved on the system and it would automatically charge them for the phone. I didn't know this until like a week or so later when my manager called me into the back room and explained all this to me. Luckily, they called the people and said because I did such a nice job and was friendly, they still paid for the phone over the phone, even though they weren't obliged to. I still had to sign like some formal write-up or something, and I think if they didn't get the money for the phone, I would have been fired. So yeah, I'm still a little mad at my manager over that. She asked me to go help out and do something that I have no idea what to do, and when I get in trouble for it, it's my fault. After that, I never helped out at mobile again, even if they asked me. Overall, Best Buy was a pretty nice experience. Probably the most fun I ever had working at a job. I'd rate it like an 8 out of 10. While still working at Best Buy, I applied to Quick Trip. It's basically a Midwest gas station that sells bananas. I'll admit, they got some good food, especially their muffins. They pride themselves in making a lot of the products at a home facility in Wisconsin and then shipping them all out from there. I don't really know the whole gist of it, but my overall main reason when I started working there was really just to get paid more. I wanted more money. I started at $13 an hour there in May of 2018. I worked there over the summer and during breaks, and I had a few friends from high school that actually worked at the same store as me, so that was pretty nice. A pretty boring job, lots of standing around, lots of cleaning, lots of restocking, but the pay was nice, so overall, like a 6 out of 10. After Quick Trip, I got a paid internship at a company called John Henry Foster, or J.H. Foster. They're basically an air compression / robotics company. They do quite a bit, and it's hard to nail them down to a certain description. They basically find solutions for people. At least that's what they told me to describe them as. I was never really a part of that side. My main job was upgrading the computers throughout the company over a single summer. It was actually a pretty cool job. People working there were chill. I got to wear jeans and basically anything I wanted. I had my own desk. I got to go out to lunch. The only downside was getting up and working at 8 a.m., which I know is pretty standard and it's kind of dumb to complain about because everyone does it. But I got paid vacations and I started working there at $15 an hour, which was insane to me. I was making like $600 a week. They even had me back there during winter and spring break. Definitely my favorite job I've worked at in terms of experience-wise. 9 out of 10. Now we move on to my most recent job. And because of the coronavirus, I got laid off from my internship. Otherwise, I would have been back there again for another summer, which would have been super nice. So I decided to take a summer class and find another job in the meantime. That job was at International Paper, the world's largest paper company. Unfortunately, no, not Dunder Mifflin. Not only does it not exist, but it's not the largest paper company in the world. I worked there as a summer helper, which basically meant I was an employee of a different company called Aerotech, but I worked at International Paper, and I just reported my hours to Aerotech. I'm extremely grateful for that job because otherwise I would have no idea how I would have paid for college. I was starting at $19.50 an hour, which was super, super nice. I actually did have the job lined up for Lunds and Byerly's, but because of the riots going on in Minnesota at the time, my manager wanted to reschedule my first day. That day never came. So I ended up working at IP. It was hard work, I won't lie. The factory was super hot and humid. The only AC was in the break room, and I had to do a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of moving around. Essentially, all I did there was make cardboard boxes for companies, everything from McDonald's to Uline. The cardboard was dropped off from a forklift, then lifted onto a conveyor belt, which was then vacuumed into an ink press, which put the ink on the cardboard, and pushed through some cutting dies, lifted up onto another conveyor belt, set down on the factory line, and sent off to be shipped. Again, I'm grateful for it, because otherwise, I don't know how I would have paid for college, and I made quite a bit of money. But the money was good, the work was awful, 6 out of 10. And so far, as of September 2020, that's all the jobs that I've worked at. Like I said at the beginning, some were better than others, and some I just never go back to. I'm glad I've worked so much, and at so many different jobs too. It's not only opened my eyes to the experiences, but also gave me a new appreciation for the working conditions of people in all different industries. If you're a teenager watching this video and looking for your first job, don't let my sole experience sway your opinion on something like retail or kitchen work, one way or the other. Try them out, and if you don't like them, you can always quit. Just know it's not about finding what you do like, it's about finding what you don't like. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment so I can reach out to more people. If you think someone else would like this video, make sure to share it with them as well. I'll have my socials linked in the description down below if you want to follow me on there as well. Otherwise, that's it for me. But until then, I'll see you all next time.
Yeah.